Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lida Sofina, and in this video, I will be presenting on theories of knowledge, a comparative epistemological study of Islamic and Western thinkers in developing economic theories. The paper started off with defining intellect as the power of knowing, which is the capacity of knowledge. Intellect is important to help humans to think and increase their knowledge. Humans can evolve by using the knowledge. And however, there is no clear definition of knowledge, so therefore there will be a very much needed epistemology. Since there is no clear definition of knowledge, different persons have different perspective of knowledge. Like for example, lay person clarify knowledge as something new that they become aware of, and they use it in their daily life, while philosophers, firstly, they split knowledge into two types, where first it is theoretical knowledge, which they attempt to make logic of everything, and the second is direct knowledge, where it is heavily related to mystical and spiritual part of the world. All major religions value the importance of knowledge, but Islamic religion hold the concept of knowledge at the highest degree, where the term ilm is used. The term ilm covers many aspects including theories, action or education, which is more thorough than the English or Western language term of knowledge. There are two sources of knowledge in Islam, but the first is the revealed knowledge, which is the Al-Quran and Sunnah, and the second is the derived knowledge. This knowledge is what Allah gives to humans after they had done many things such as observation, researches, and analyzing. Epistemology or theory of knowledge had always been an interesting subject to study, as it was the foundation on all studies of subjects that humans beings had understanding on. So first we move on with the Islamic scholars epistemology, which are Ibn Khaldun's, Imam al-Ghazali's, and Imam al-Shatibi's. Ibn Khaldun's shared his idea on epistemology, where he highlighted the importance of both religious and worldly studies, where every single thing was determined by the law of Allah and every single living creature must abide by his law. He first stated that human possesses akal, which enable human to think and make rational judgment and decision, and as well as receive and accept divine revelation through the Prophet. Akal is what differentiates humans from animals. According to Imam al-Shatibi, there are two parts of human being. The first is the physical part, which consists of the five senses, and second is the spiritual part, which is heavily connected with the soul and intuition. The human soul is divided into two parts. The first is heavily related with human senses, where it helps human to think, to analyze, to practice anything, as well as to create new things. The second part of the soul is interrelated with intuition, where the real knowledge comes from, and only Allah can give human knowledge through this part of the soul. Ibn Khaldun stated that knowledge is generated through the practical part of humans. However, their limitations prevent them from obtaining the true knowledge, as the knowledge is limitless. The next scholar is Imam al-Ghazali. Imam al-Ghazali divided his epistemology into three parts. The core is the knowledge of Allah, and surrounding it is his own theory of knowledge, as well as the practical aspect of knowledge. He started off by stating that inspiration comes from Allah, and it can be referred as revelation. It helps humans to interpret the Al-Quran and develop any theories while using the Al-Quran and As-Sunnah as the guide and use it into practice. In order to gain certainty in knowledge, humans need to use both the figurative interpretation and the logical demonstration so that they can come up with good theories and make a better observation. Imam al-Ghazali also stated that the need of constant growth in the knowledge is very important, where it can be achieved to three levels, which is ilmul yakin, ainul yakin, and the haqqul yakin. Humans need to achieve the highest level of certainty so that they can be more confident with what knowledge that they have found, and they can spread it for the better of the ummah. However, the highest level can only be achieved through the help of Allah. Practical aspect of the knowledge is very important so that it can help humans to achieve a higher level of certainty and gain wisdom. The last classical Islamic economist idea on epistemology that will be studied is Imam al-Shatibi. He started off by stating that there are three types of knowledge which are fundamental, sound, and a knowledge that is neither fundamental nor sound. This type of knowledge can be based on two perspectives, which is the originality of knowledge and the trustworthiness of knowledge. According to Imam Al-Shatibi, the original purpose of gaining knowledge is to generate action. However, some people generate knowledge so that they can increase their own fame and position. Next, the transmission of knowledge relies heavily on the methodology the knowledge is spread. The manner of the knowledge must be acceptable by all, as if it is too hard to comprehend, the knowledge will be impracticable. According to him, there are three groups of seekers of knowledge. The first is the followers. The second is where they achieve the level of proving and argumentation, and the last group, they are heavily rooted to the knowledge where they achieve the highest level of certainty on the knowledge. Next, he focuses on the means in obtaining the knowledge, where humans can obtain knowledge through teachers and books. And lastly, the role of reasons, according to Imam Al-Shatibi, is not absolute, but it is necessary so that human can achieve certainty and understanding. But it must be based on the Al-Quran and Sunnah. The next part of the paper will be talking about the conventional scholars, epistemology, which are John Maynard Keynes, Adam Smith, and John Stuart Mill. Keynes developed his own theory of knowledge as others' epistemology is not suitable for his school of economics. It started off by dividing knowledge into direct and indirect knowledge, where direct knowledge is from humans' own perspective, where they perceive the rule of formal logic, and indirect knowledge heavily relies on the secondary proposition, which stems from debate and reanalyzing. Evidence is the base of knowledge according to Keynes, as it helps humans to achieve a higher level of certainty. The importance of evidence was bigger, according to Keynes, so that it can make a better economic stories and give a better prediction of the future. Therefore, it can be said that, according to Keynes, better evidence give a better results of the theories. Adam Smith's epistemology is more aesthetic and focuses more on the faculty of imagination. He stated that the three sentiments of human, surprise, wonder, and admiration, is the base of his epistemology. Surprise happens when there are unexpected changes happen and humans react to it. And wonder happens when humans respond to new things or phenomena. Admiration is when people see new things that are great and beautiful. Surprise and wonder will change if there are any disruption in thinking, and if it becomes more frequent, human sentiment as well as worldview will be changed. Therefore, in order to soothe the imagination, disruption must be eliminated. A disruption causes people to think too complex, and it will be hard for humans to observe any new phenomena. Lastly, Mill's epistemology revolves around the science first philosophy and the justification of knowledge. He believed that knowledge practitioners must have great confidence in their ideas so that they can inspire people. Evidences and inferences are important elements of knowledge, as it helps to increase the reliability of the knowledge, but it does not bring any absolute meaning, as there is no way for humans to obtain the absolute knowledge. The new knowledge that was developed must be acknowledged and have a strong reasons to reject its opinion with complete confidence so that it can have the right to be put into practice. The idea of fallibility is important, as according to Mill, all knowledge is fallible and in need of criticism, as there is no absolute knowledge, so humans can contradict each other with their different worldview and opinions, and people will make judgment on what they believe as the truth. Therefore, the knowledge must survive any harsh criticism by giving persuasive arguments. The discussion of the paper will be more on the comparative between the Islamic and the conventional scholars' epistemology. All of their epistemology is almost the same, however, they are very different from one another. The conventional scholars focuses more on the human side of the world, while the Islamic scholars' epistemology incorporate the element of religion and spiritual to their epistemology. All Islamic scholars build epistemology from Allah's knowledge. However, their differences appears where Ibn Khaldun circles his idea on akal, Al-Ghazali focuses more on the practical side, and Al-Shatibi focuses more on fundamental knowledge. The conventional scholars build their epistemology from human nature and capabilities, where this may happen because they are influenced by the notion that religion must be split from any worldly matters. There are significant similarities between all the Islamic scholars and the conventional scholars' epistemology, where they see that reasoning is one of the most important aspects of knowledge. However, Islamic scholars say that human reasoning is limited, so therefore, element of religion plays the biggest role in making a more comprehensive theory. It can be analyzed that differences in worldview place the big impact on the theory's idea and their perspective on what is important. All scholars have contributed greatly on theories that changes the contemporary world. However, the classical conventional scholars stress the importance of materiality. Because of this, humans find ways to increase their own knowledge and to satisfy their materialistic needs. So they can see that happiness can only be obtained if they have more money so that they can afford more luxurious items. The establishment of bank helps humans to increase their wealth. So therefore, it makes humans more greedy for money. Therefore, there is need a balance between the religion and the economics. The epistemology that were introduced by the classical Islamic scholars had heavily influences the contemporary Islamic economics in developing an Islamic economy. The development of Islamic economy is important so that it can help Muslims to escape from the Western world. As for Muslims to live a true life in Islam, they must avoid the entire haram elements such as riba, haram, and maisir. But today, they must make do with the Western economics in order for them to keep on living without any unnecessary burden. The classical Islamic scholars have paved the way for the current Islamic economies to incorporate the element of Islam in their daily life. They help them to realize the importance of teaching knowledge and realizing the Islamic economy into practice. Their current efforts are born fruitless as they receive harsh criticism and they need to start the development process from the drawing board once again. This is because they had focuses more on the institution and not on the thoughts of the Islamic economics itself. The theory of knowledge of the classical Islamic economists explain the methodology that they use in making economic theories without the compromise of the people, and therefore the current scholars can use their method and learn how to assimilate Islamic principles into economics. In conclusion, seeking knowledge is wajib for all humans so that they can be a better person. However, there must be a balance between the religious and secular knowledge so that we can achieve the true purpose of life. Revelation must be used as a guideline to develop any new things, including to develop an Islamic economics. That is all from me. Thank you.